We're making tea.
Hey guys, welcome back to Craft Tea. This is episode 9.
Always
Episode
impressed
9.
when you
We're almost there. Yeah,
remember.
one shy of episode 10. Uh, excited, definitely this week because we have a guest. Finally, I know we've said we'll have a guest for like, I don't know, the last 3 weeks. Now we finally actually have one. It was supposed to be Duncan, but he's still in bed, I think. So,
We'll have him next week.
yeah, so we bumped Duncan. We have Lauren Quigley's with us today. And Lauren's going to be teaching at the Expo, and we have a whole bunch of other stuff to talk about. And I'm super excited, but I feel like Lauren's going to explain herself better than I ever will. So please, Lauren.
Yes. Well, I'm Lauren Quigley. I'm so excited to be here. Thanks for having me on, y'all. I'm going to be teaching at the Expo. I'm going to be doing an epoxy-free class. I feel like that's what I'm most known for, even though I literally do it all. I do all of the things, all different art mediums, and I use epoxy-free stuff, and I use epoxy. But my class is going to be epoxy free, and I'm really excited to teach some of my tips and tricks and all of that great jazz, and to meet everybody in person, because I feel like that's the environment that I really thrive in, is being around other people and other creatives.
Yes, absolutely. I can hear it when we talk on the phone. Like, I feel like we jazz each other up when we're starting to talk, and it's like we're both just getting excited about just talking to another human, and it's great. I think
Yes.
you're gonna
Oh
have
my
a
gosh.
lot of
Yeah, I'm very excitable. That's what people say whenever they talk to me. They're like, "I just love you. We're gonna have so much fun." But it's gonna be a great time. And I hope to see everybody there, because it'll
Have
be
you ever
awesome.
taught in person before? Is this gonna be your
No,
first?
it'll be my first expo. I mean, I've done like kids classes and things like that. Like I used to teach at a pottery studio, and I would teach how to tie dye and like things like that, but it was all for like children. That was back when I was going to school in Savannah.
So, like, I feel like what the questions that I want to ask are things that people that wouldn't that haven't been exposed to you yet or anything or like that. So, like, what got you into the art in even in general, like making? Because you say you do like
Okay.
everything, so I know that.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, let's start back at the beginning then. Well, my grandmother, I'm very close to, I call her Bonbon. She's my Bonbon. I'm super close to my Bonbon. She taught me to sew and paint when I was younger. Like I would say like between like the ages of 6 to 10. We were always doing stuff, painting murals on the walls and whatever. And so my grandmother used to kind of be like a fashion designer. She would make clothes and all of this stuff back in like the 80s and 90s. And so she was very creative, and I got a lot of that from her. And all through high school, I feel like I'm not like a math person. My husband's very mathy. I'm not. I've just always been artsy. And so after high school, I went to school. I actually changed my major a few different times, but I said I really wanted to do art. So I went to school for ceramics, and that's kind of like where my love started. I worked in a pottery or ceramic studio when I was 18, 19 years old. And then when I moved to Savannah, I just started going to school in Savannah and doing ceramics. But I'm a military spouse, so you can't move around with the kiln and all of that. It's a lot of stuff that goes into it. So I
Right.
I just had like a million side hustles. I would paint. I mean, I've had so many Etsy shops and things where I would make baby clothes. I would do like paintings for people. I would make jewelry. I mean, all of the things you could think of, I pretty much did it. A lot of fiber art. And that was just kind of to make money while we were moving around, because my husband was the one who, he's the breadwinner. He's always been doing all, like, I don't know, he's active duty military. So he's just been getting all of that. And I wanted to have something for myself. So that's pretty much how I got into it. I just was raised to be creative, and I've just
love
continued to do
that.
that. Yeah. And the crazy thing is like the glitter tumblers, literally in a million years, if you would have told me I would have been making tumblers, I would have been like, what is that? Like what? I would have had
Same.
no idea. But my mom got me a Cricut maker back in, I think it was like 27, 17 or 18. It was something like that. And
Mhm.
that it was actually to help with my fiber art, because it cuts fabric. So it was to help cut my embroidery stuff that I was doing, because I was doing a lot of freehand embroidery and some really cool stuff. And then I started making like decals, and I put a decal on a tumbler, and then I started seeing glitter tumblers, and I just kind of fell into that, and it just started like this whole new love of glitter. And I feel like I've always been like a sparkly person. Like I love bright colors, but the medium of like glitter just kind of allowed me to just blossom and just have so much fun.
I love that.
Yeah. Yes. And
you really do it all. I mean, your Instagram's full. That's why I started following you, is because you do so many different things. And I mean, I showed you the pictures of my damn nutcrackers. They're still all over my house and my warehouse. They're everywhere. The one sitting behind my desk looking at me, judging me all the time. That
I love that. You need to finish him. You need to finish that guy up.
I'm gonna, even if I finish him over the summer, I'm still putting him up.
Yeah, he'll be a summer nutcracker.
You know, put a little Hawaiian shirt on him. And
that's what I'm thinking. We just do summer vibe nutcrackers.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I can imagine it now. A really tanned one too.
Put some shades on.
Give him like a puka shell or something. Yeah. Yes. Do it. That'd be awesome.
Oh my God, I'm gonna give him tan lines around his eyes or something.
Yes, and then have the sunglasses, and then you can be like, look at this, and then take the sunglasses off, and there's that tan line there. It'd be perfect. Speaking of Hawaiian shirts, we need to do the shirts for the expo. I'm really excited.
I was gonna text you about it, but I didn't get a chance yesterday. But start thinking about designs, because I mean, we pulled the trigger on getting something to make those things, and we're gonna do it in house.
Yeah. Oh, really? Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
But yeah, I totally meant to text you yesterday, because that's when we were starting to talk about it. So we need to get some designs going on, because I loved your idea, and I think that it would be so much fun.
I think it would be too, because then it kind of sets everybody apart, but it's also like very colorful. I liked the two-tone look. Oh, that's another thing that I like. I really like design and like color theory, and I love putting colors together. Ever since I remember being in elementary school, and I actually had some like paper mache sculptures and like weird shit that I used to make, like be put in like the little like craft, I was about to say expo, but it wasn't like that, like a show, whatever, like when I was in elementary school. And my teachers would always tell my mom, she has such an eye for color, like the way she puts colors together. And then that's just something that people have told me since I was a child, that has just continued to be with me, and that I love color and just design. It's so fun.
I feel like I see you tend to ombre a lot.
I do.
You have a mean ombre.
And I really like the color schemes that you choose to ombre together, because they're not always like traditional.
Yes.
looks.
Yeah. I'm all about the non-tradish. I like the non-traditional stuff.
Yeah.
You said something to me when we were on the phone the other day that I thought was really interesting, and it's that because you are epoxy free, but you also use epoxy. But I don't know if a lot of people know why you are epoxy free, or if you kind of feel like you are, or if you already are getting bad feedback on wanting to also use epoxy, because I think a ton of people use both, but you for a long time had to be epoxy free.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Let's definitely talk about that, because that's something that I feel it's so important to talk about, because I know I've been struggling a little bit with like my mental health when I think about like what people. So here's my thing. I don't like to be put in a box. So I had some videos go viral of me using Crystal-Lac products, but a lot of people don't know that I actually started with epoxy. But I'm also a military spouse, and so we were living in military housing, and I didn't realize that like you shouldn't be using epoxy the way I was. Like I was indoors using it, and I have my babies. At the time, I only had 2 kids. I have 4 now. I don't know how that happened. I mean, I know how it happened, but
they just showed up one day.
Yeah, they just showed up. They were dropped at my doorstep. But okay, so that's when I was like, oh my gosh, like and then I was pregnant, and I'm like, oh, I'm not going to be able to continue making tumblers. And I was so sad, because my mom had actually bought a bunch of stuff for me, and materials for me to get started making tumblers. And so then I felt so bad. And I remember calling my mom and saying, Mom, I'm so sad. Like, I'm not going to be able to use this stuff. I'm not going to be able to make tumblers. And then I remember seeing randomly in a Facebook group, somebody mentioned Crystal-Lac. And I went and looked it up and I was so excited. I'm like, I can still make my tumblers. So I got the stuff. It was definitely trial and error. It was a learning curve for sure. Like doing it, like all of the main thing is that it's more coats, but you can still get up that nice shine and everything. It just takes it's just a whole different process than epoxy. But I really loved it. And I loved it for that time in my life when I was living in my military housing. And I just didn't, I didn't have the setup for epoxy. But since moving, I now live in Georgia and I love Georgia. And I have a she shed outside. I have like a bigger studio here, but I also have my garage. And so I've been able to kind of get back into epoxy. And so I use both. And so I've never been one that wants to be put into a box or kind of like trap myself in any medium, because that's very much like not my personality. I like to jump around. I'll start a project. I'll get an idea. Like, let's say, even if I'm really busy and I have a bunch of projects on my calendar that I have to get done, if I get a really cool creative idea in my head, it's like, I have to do it. I have to get it out.
We are very much the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's
I think you just execute a little better than we do.
Yeah.
we gather the parts and the materials. We just don't necessarily finish.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Like I have a back closet. It's a pretty large back closet. It's where I like keep all of my excess stuff, but I have like bins of projects that I start and I'm like, oh, I got to finish that because I recorded half of that, but I didn't finish it. So there's just a bunch of that going on back there. But back to the epoxy versus epoxy free, I use both things. It just kind of depends on what I'm doing or what I have time for. You know what I mean? Because now I feel like when I was selling my tumblers, I was knocking them out. And I had a wait list of months long. It was months long to get onto my wait list. And I could knock them out during 2020 COVID times because I had the time. Everybody was home. My kids were home. My husband was home. He'd be doing his like Zoom work and I'd be in there knocking out the tumblers. And people liked to see that. They liked to see the process. They liked to see a successful tumbler maker being successful at doing epoxy free. You know what I mean? So that's what people like. But I very much still like epoxy and use epoxy for other things. So I still I love the Crystalac company. The Crystalac company has been there through like the pandemic for me. And they just created a product that I needed at that time. And I'm still loving, they came out, so it used to be Bright Tone. They still have Bright Tone, but now they came out with something and it's the Grand Finale 2.0. And I still use that, but sometimes I just need something that's like quick and fast because my business has completely changed from when I was selling out tumblers. Like I had the wait list, like I was saying. And then after I had my wait list, I decided I'm switching from to just ready to go, ready to sell tumblers. And I loved that because it gave me full creative freedom. But also I was kind of like, you know what? I want to start teaching more and showing people how to do it because I feel like that will give me even more creative freedom. So I switched to that. And now I'm just doing tutorials and working with companies that I love, some amazing companies. I've had some amazing opportunities. And let me knock on wood. And now that's kind of where I'm at now. I am just I worked my ass off over the last decade to kind of get to where I am. And I feel like now I'm reaping the rewards of that. And I can kind of set my own time, even though I feel like I'm always busy. Like there's always something for me to be doing, but I'm just enjoying it. And I'm enjoying the creative process.
I was so impressed the other day. I'm just sitting in the back seat with Alex because she was screaming her little head off back there. And I'm rolling through my phone and I'm like, there's Lauren. Lauren, wait, wait a minute. That's not her post. And then over there, you were on a commercial for Creative Fabrica.
Fabrica. As the trolls have told me. So once those ads went live, it was so funny because I am like, the trolls had two things to say. Number, that I was saying it wrong. And that I was so embarrassed because I've been using that platform, the Creative Fabrica platform, for like 2 to 3 years. Literally the whole time I thought it was Fabrica, Creative
So
Fabrica.
you didn't know that you were saying it a little wrong.
I had no idea. I was a paprika, eureka, Fabrica. I just thought it was, they're not a US company. They're based out of Amsterdam. So I just thought, I'm being a little fancy. I'm saying it the wrong way though.
I say so many things the wrong way. That's why I laugh so hard, because I'm the same.
Mm-hmm.
But the trolls are crazy. Did you I wouldn't have I would never have expected that you would have said that you had trolls from that. Or anything, from anything, really, or anyone that says you do anything weird or wrong or whatever.
Well, I you know what? Let me knock on wood again, because I don't get a lot of trolls. Usually it's like the thing that annoyed me about this one wasn't the people didn't like how I pronounced it, but it was that they were saying that the pattern that I used wasn't bright. They said, oh, it's so dull. You don't know how to sublimate. You're doing it wrong. But they didn't see the original PNGs. The original PNGs were muted tones. They weren't like super vibrant. They were just somebody's like doodles, and they were very muted to begin with. So, I mean, I did it right, but the color wasn't vibrant, and that's what people didn't like. I was like, well, guys, it's craft month, and we're doing crafty things, and they're craft things on the mug. That's what
art
it was.
is
That's
subjective. There's no wrong and right way to do art.
Yes, that's what I say all the time about, especially when it comes to like tumbler making, because some people are like, it has to be this way, it has to be this. I'm like, there is no rule book. Like, it doesn't have, it doesn't have to be a certain way. It can be however you like it is how it's going to be. And I feel like that's where people start trolling each other, and just the community can get so toxic over things like that. And it is the only time that I will say is if like the epoxy is not cured or something, then that's like science. That's not.
Then there's a wrong. Yeah, there you go. Then there's science.
Yeah. But as far as like, you know, like, oh, I can feel the vinyl, or I can like, I want to tape my bottom off, or don't tape it. It's like, do what you want. Use puffy paint. Don't use puffy paint.
The pencil, put your tip on the bottom, put your tip on the top. There's no wrong and right way.
Pencil tumbler, honestly, is one of the most perfect examples.
That was my first time
of the evolution
getting trolled by that stuff.
Because like the pencil, like you said, it was something as simple as like, is the eraser on the top or bottom? But now pencils are made from vinyl. Pencils are made with like, you know, all the like different patterns involved in them and stuff. So they don't even look like a traditional pencil anymore. So it's like, what was the point of trolling in the first place? If the eraser's on the top or the bottom, but now the pencil's fucking holographic and like glow in the dark, like not a normal pencil either. We're making a tumbler look like a pencil. So why are we doing it in the first place?
I got trolled so hard where I decided that point on that pencil was going to be. And mind you, at this point, I had just gone viral for my pencils. I was making 100 pencils a week, and I'm not even kidding. And it was like super viral that summer. I lived with pencils, and I did my lead on the top. But at the time, we were all using Ozark Trail tumblers. And what color is the lid of an Ozark Trail tumbler? It's smoky black. It blended
so
in.
It makes sense.
Glitter. It literally looked like one piece. So I thought lead on the top. And then when I started saying like that, the trolls were kind of like backing off a little bit. But then, you know, some people were just like, I can't even look at it. I'm like, well, then don't look at it, Suzanne. I don't know.
Now smoky words don't even exist.
So, I don't know why I said the name Suzanne, by the way. And I don't really like that name, but it came out. I was trying to use one that wasn't Karen.
You know what? It's okay. It's okay. And the thing that gets me is like people, they're like, oh, do we do names bottom to top or top to bottom?
Oh, yes.
And it's like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because if you're left-handed or right-handed, it's different. You know?
Oh, that's good. Left hand and right hand. Because I'm like, there's no reason why I would do one the other way. Maybe it's just the way you read
Personal
it.
preference.
I start on the bottom, by the way, if it does matter.
Yeah.
I feel like my go-to would be to get the poll of what people would want, and then I would do the opposite.
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
That's like my natural like go-to is like you said, going against the grain and stuff. It drives me nuts.
Going against the grain. Yes.
100 people and 90 people say do it this way. I'm going to do it the other way then.
Yeah.
Because
you got to stand out.
I want it to look like the other 90 people's tumblers then. I want it to look like mine.
Yes, that is so true. You got to stand out amongst the crowd. And this doesn't really have to do with tumbler making. It's more like something that I realized about myself in my life. So when I got married, my husband's in the military. He's an officer in the military, and I had like this vision of what I thought like an officer's wife had to like look like or be like. It's very beige. That's what I thought it was. I thought it was very beige, and I'm not beige. I am not. I am rainbow coming out of my ears. You know what I mean?
Lauren, I love you.
I love you. But anyway, so I had tried to change myself. I tried to buy all this beige and like, just like, I don't know, look a little bit more high end. And that just was not me. It was not me. And it wasn't until like I got rid of all that shit and I fully embraced myself that I was like, you know what? I don't care if I'm going to be in a room of all of these women dressed in beige and black dresses. I'm going to show up colorful AF and I'm going to
glittery rainbow.
Happy. Yeah. Yeah. That's the way to do it.
I love that.
That's what, like, imagine having that kind of like personality and color bottled up inside of you, but being in an atmosphere that's like utterly masculine too. So like I'm kind of similar in the same way. And like when I was doing line work and everything, and when I first got in, I was an apprentice. I had like blonde hair with black lowlights. Like I was super seen. But anyway, like I stood out in a bunch of like Southern lumberjack looking burly men. You know what I mean? And then now that I left, like there was no way that any of them, I would have never been able to show up to work. Like my hair is half white, half green now. Like, and if,
right.
You know, you'd be like, what's this dude up to? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So it's like,
they're manly men.
Yeah. It's like crazy when you are kind of trapped in a box and you want to be able to express yourself. Like
exactly what you're saying. You don't want to be in a box. Don't put me in a box.
Don't put me in a box.
Don't suffocate me in there.
Don't typecast me. Yeah, when you were going in about being able to work with all these new companies and stuff and kind of the evolution of your brand and kind of what you do, have you found it difficult now that your, I guess, day-to-day life is reliant on making content? Is it difficult to start a craft knowing that, like, crap, I have to get the camera going? Because I know that's become an issue for us, is like you have an idea and you want to jump to it and you want to make it, but now you have that extra step of like, did I record it? Do I have the camera set up? And it's like you almost feel reluctant to make the craft if you don't have a camera shooting.
Even when me and Chris were getting ready yesterday to do it, I ran out the door to spray paint first.
I'd love to hear another creator's view on that struggle.
Oh my gosh. I feel like you literally just like took those thoughts right out of my head, because I talk about this with one of my girlfriends, Jess, all of the time, because it's so much work to get out the camera and all of that. And sometimes all I want to do is just say, F the camera. I don't want to record it. I just want to sit down and do something that makes me happy. And I have to do that. Sometimes I'll take like an art pad, a mixed media pad. I'll go sit in my backyard while my kids are playing and I'm just like doodling and drawing something, or I'll bring out some paint and just have fun. Because once it's not fun anymore, I'm not going to want to do it. I have to have that balance of where I'm keeping it fun. I'm still getting out my creative ideas, but creating that content. And one of the things that I try to do is, if I have an idea of something that I like, a project or something that I really want to do, I will go to the companies that I have a relationship with and I'll say, hey, here's my idea. How can we incorporate your products or whatever into this idea that I have? And that kind of, that's still like that content that I'm making for other people, but I'm putting my ideas on it. And then, so I have that, but then I also have the balance of like my just non-recording time. Like I just won't record it.
So not every craft you do is recorded.
Correct. Mm-hmm. A lot of them actually aren't recorded. Like a lot of the tumblers, because when you're recording epoxy-free tumblers, it is, there's a lot of layers. So sometimes I don't record every single layer I put on, because it just takes a lot of time to record that. So instead, what I'll do is if I do, because I have my creative community, which is like my paid mentorship group, I feel like it's more than that though. It's more like a place where I feel like I can just kind of go and be free and talk to the people in there and get ideas from them. But what I do is, instead of showing like a visualization of what I'm actually doing, I'll say, okay, and here I added 4 layers, and you can do 4 layers of your grand finale or bright tone. But then what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to switch my tutorials around where it is more inclusive instead of exclusive. Like, I don't like that. Like, if you use this product, this is the only product you can use. I don't like that. I want to be inclusive. And I'm like, so here's how you're going to do it epoxy free. Here's how you're going to do it with epoxy. And then, because I have people in my group that only use epoxy. I have people in my group that have extreme epoxy allergies and cannot use epoxy. So it's like, I want to be able to create the best of both worlds and show people how to do it multiple ways. So that's just what I want to do.
Yeah.
I sent you that picture before of my epoxy reaction, right?
I did, and it made me so sad because I know so many people that have had those reactions. Yeah. I know. And you were like, Jason.
I was puffed out. I didn't know. I was so
I love you.
Get on epoxy.
Yes.
I forgot all about that stuff. When you're recording videos, do you accidentally forget to record parts that you meant to record?
Oh yeah. And I'll say that in my videos. I'm like, and I forgot to. The worst is when my phone runs out of space and it just stops recording on me and I don't know. I'm like, but see, I have a hard drive. I have a hard drive, and then I also have things backed up to. I have like 2 terabytes or whatever on like Google or something crazy.
On Google or something.
Because I have a ridiculous amount of. If you were to look at my phone, it's insane the amount of pictures and videos I have. And there's so much content that I have that I just sit on that I don't even post because I don't want to go in and edit it. It's like I just don't have the time.
Yes. I totally understand that. When
you're speaking to Chris right now, specifically.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I have 4 kids, and my kids they see me on my phone a lot. And that's something that I've been struggling with because I don't want them to think that that's normal. And so I try to show them, I'm like, hey, like mommy's job is creative and it's fun. And this is what I'm doing. Like, I'm not just sitting here scrolling, like I'm editing my things. Cause I edit a lot on my phone because it's just so much easier for me. Cause I'm not a tech person. I'm really not. I'm more artsy. I wish that I could just record all my stuff and then just give it to someone for somebody else to do that part.
You could.
Sure, you can. I know a guy.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you're right. And so speaking of that, I have outsourced, like there has been, I'm not just like, I mean, I'm a one person, whatever, I'm the face behind my business, but I have someone who does my Pinterest management. I have someone who does my newsletters and helps me with my blogs. I have people that do that for me because I physically do not have enough time in my day to do those things. So I have the Glitter Babe newsletter that goes out every Monday, and it has stuff that I've been working on. It has like just all of the Glitter Babe stuff. So
you need to find yourself a video helper. You don't have to have it all the time. Just when, here's my stuff. Do something with the stuff.
Videos
give me some cool reels, because the video editing is so annoying because I'm on almost every platform. So it's like I'll make my video, then it's going to TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and 2 or 3 different places on Facebook.
Yeah, they all have to be different.
All different formats.
Yeah. And that's why my phone gets filled up with all of these formats. When I did my Creative Fabrica ads, I think I submitted 16 videos because each video had a different hook. Each video had to be a different format. We had square, 3/4, and 9/16, and I had to edit each one of those. And I was like,
You definitely need some help with that.
Yeah.
And I totally understand the phone thing. That's also an issue for us too, because I mean, if I'm not in the Facebook group and doing things, Facebook is very unforgiving, and they won't show my post to people, and then no one's buying glitter, and then we're not paying any bills, and I'm not, useful anymore. So I constantly have to be on my phone. I constantly have to be in my messenger. I'm always trying to catch up with people, and my list is ever growing of people that I'm trying to keep up with. You know me, I got to do everything. I can't just do a few things. I got to do 97.
Yeah.
So I'm constantly trying to put it down, but time's of the essence.
Yeah. And that's another thing with the engagement. If you're not, like being super active, that's the same with Instagram, because they're the same now. Facebook and Instagram. But like, if you're not posting every day now, or like scheduling it, you're not going to be seen. And I speak to so many people who tell me how discouraged they are. And also the economy is not doing so hot right now. So sales are slow for people, and they're just not wanting to post as much content. And it sucks because the engagement's low and I feel bad for everybody, but it's like, there's more people creating video content because pretty much video is king right now. That's what it is. You can't just snap a photo. I used to just snap a photo of a cup with my hand. That thing would get thousands of likes.
And we'd be done. Yep.
And be done. That's it.
Yep. Wrap it up. Put a bow on it. We're good. Get the likes.
No process video, just the Tumblr. Just that's it.
Now are like glitter guy ads. I can go back and look at the analytics, and any static ads are just garbage. Like they get no traction or nothing because nobody cares. You scroll past static stuff. It's not enough anymore to captivate you.
Yeah, and that goes to talk about like our brains. Yeah, our brains are changing. Everything has to be like this. You have to have something that grabs your attention. And that's like scary to think about. At least for me, it's scary to think about how my kids, like, they're like, I want to be able to just go outside and sit in like my freaking hammock and just like look up at the sky and be like content. But like our children are going to have all of this stuff constantly coming at their brains. And it's like, I don't know.
We all grew up different too. I didn't grow up with a phone at all. I didn't have my first cell phone until I was 16 or 17. It was a flip phone I shared with my mom. But before that, it was like,
thank God.
I'd be in the house and my mom's like, get the hell out of the house. And I'm like, well, where am I supposed to go? She's like, I don't care, just anywhere else but in this house. So you'd have to go outside. You had to find people to play with. You had to knock for people.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I know. I remember that.
Probably never know what that's like. I doubt she'll ever just walk up and knock for someone. I won't even knock for someone now. And you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I did it growing up.
Yes,
text them.
Somebody knocked on our door like a year ago. Remember that random guy knocked on the door? And we were like, people don't knock on doors. Who's here?
I was like, are you expecting someone?
Yeah, check the ring doorbell. This is crazy.
No, it's crazy. It's nuts. It's a different time. Or we would be out in the hammock looking up at the clouds. And that is something I did. Actually, we would lay in the field and just look up at the clouds.
Yeah, I still try to do that. I take my kids out there and I'm trying to like, what do you see? What do you, like, I try to get them to just be able to be just content in the moment and kind of be bored a little. Like my oldest, she's only 7, but she always
acceptance of boredom.
What'd you say?
Just what you said, acceptance of boredom is like, it's like not okay to be bored now.
Yeah, which is scary. Like you need to be able to just have your brain rest and be bored a little.
That's why everybody needs mental health breaks like every 8 minutes now, because it's like oversaturation, and then it's just like shut down for like 2 days. And then like, let's do it again. And it's like, can we just please?
It's like not sustainable. It's not sustainable. We need to find a way to have that. And I feel like there's no such thing as balance, but you need to try to find something that's a schedule or a routine that is okay. Like maybe on like Sundays, just shut it off. Like that's what I've been trying to do. But for me, it's hard because I still have my 2 youngest at home with me. So I'm working in all of the in-between moments. Like for me, there's no chill. I am always working, but I'm trying to be thankful for that because I know that there will be a time when all of them will be at school and I'll be, able to create and enjoy that, but I'm trying to enjoy it.
That was going to be my next question was, how do you do it? How do you find time? Is it difficult for you? Are your kids just super used to it? Are they up your butt all the time? Are they in your paints? What is it like? What is a normal day for Lauren? Do you find it hard to create with the kids?
So I feel like they're used to it, but I try to get them involved. So if I'm painting, I try to like give them a little bit of paint and give them some, let them do something. But really, I'm just doing it in all of the in-between moments and lots of voiceovers. Like everything I do, if you were to listen to a raw video of me, there's always somebody in the background yelling, or my husband's coming in talking about something. The kids are crying, they're fighting with each other. There are some moments of me yelling, like, get out of here, don't touch that. Like while I'm
she'll leave that in.
Yeah. Well, I'll probably make a little compilation of something like that because that's content. But that it's
moms would like that.
Yeah. And I try to also put that balance in there. in my content of showing what it's like behind the scenes and just showing that like mom life, because it's real. And I also get vulnerable with like my followers or the people in my group sometimes, because another thing you may not know about me is I'm also sober. And so that has been something that has been like it's a huge part of my life, and I'm super happy about it and proud of it. So yeah, there's that.
Good for you.
Yeah, thank you.
Balancing it all.
Yeah, that helps with, I feel like at first, because I'm sober from alcohol, like that what started as like me drinking wine to kind of like cope with motherhood, and like when I had like my first two kids, it like transformed slowly into like something more. And I just didn't like that. Instead of adding to my creativity, like some people I'll see like, oh, they love to like drink wine and paint, or drink wine and like do things. It took away from me. Like it took away my creativity for like a bit there. And I was like in this rut. And so being sober has actually kind of given me that freedom to be more creative, to wake up early and get things done and not be so like hungover and irritable and just like not feeling good. Like I just feel like even on like my worst day sober, like I love it. I love it. I fucking love it.
That's fantastic. And a lot of people go through that. I went through that myself. I've gone through that, I think, probably on two different patches that I can identify. And one of them was definitely during the pandemic. And it just started out very, very innocent. I'm just having a glass of wine and I'm sweeping my floor. And then it was like, well, now I'm going through like 2 bottles a week, and that's not like me. And then, shit happens. And I just think maybe I was feeling something or something.
Yeah. So and it's a depressant. So it definitely brings you down, and slowly, like people don't realize it. Like you can have like, or at least this is how it was for me. I'm not going to speak on everybody, but for me, I would have 1 or 2 glasses and I'm like, okay, good. Like I'm feeling good. But then I couldn't stop there. I would have like, I'd do like one of those skinny bottles, like a day or a night, whatever. Before I knew it, they're like, okay, that's 4 glasses. It's gone. And then the next morning I would just have like a raging headache, and I just wasn't nice. Like I'd be irritable to my kids. And when I imagined myself as like my best person, I became that. Like, I'm like, okay, I'm not going to do this anymore. This is not for me. I'm going to be the best version of myself. And I still struggle with, being irritable sometimes, or I don't know.
That's human nature.
Yeah, but it's human. Yeah. So I try not to give myself too much like I have a lot of grace. Glitter and grace over here is what we're going on.
Well, I think you're doing fantastic.
Thanks, love.
That's so cool. I didn't even know you had a paid membership or a mentorship group. I might have to get on that.
It's pretty legit. But you know what's so sad, or not sad, it's just kind of like what you were saying about Facebook earlier. Even though there are people in there that are paying for the group and they love it. I mean, I always get amazing feedback, but the engagement has been low because everybody's like, oh, I don't see it. I don't see things, blah, blah, blah. So one of the things that I do is the people that are signed up, they get like a newsletter and see things that are in there that way, because Facebook has just not been favoring creators or people that have like groups. I feel like they're just like putting those groups on the back burner maybe.
Yeah, I don't know what they've been doing, but it's not showing my group to people, and they're complaining about it too. And I'm like, I'm doing everything I can. I don't know what else to do.
Yeah. Less people there too, because they're on other apps. You can only be in one app at a time, Yeah. So
it's probably why I like being on the computer so much. I can open up 70 browsers.
If you're on TikTok, you're not on Facebook. But that was a question that I wanted to ask. What was your opinion on specifically the TikTok possibly, going away thing, if everything, whatever. But because my take is opposite, I think, than a lot of other people in the business owners. So they're like, small businesses rely on it, struggle with it. For me, I find that it stretches businesses too thin. Like you said, you're on so many platforms. It's just another platform that I have to juggle. And I prefer not to. Like if I can focus more on Facebook and focus more on YouTube, where honestly, as a business owner and content creator, the monetization is better there anyway.
Yeah.
So,
monetization on TikTok
going away is not bad. Like I don't see TikTok being a bad thing going away as a business owner. I see it as an opportunity for traffic to increase on the platforms that I always found more success in anyway.
Right.
That's
I feel like
so
for me, I mean, I do have the most amount of followers over there, but followers really don't mean anything at all because my views over there are just so low that it's literally a lot like a lottery over there. You know, it's like you can have one that goes really well and then you can work really hard on something and then it just doesn't get any traction at all.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, sorry. You can probably hear my kids in the background.
Oh, I thought that was mine.
No, that's mine. But no, I mean, I feel like I like TikTok for the freedom of speech, and I feel like there's a lot of information that I find out on there, but it can be very doom scrolling. You're just scrolling and the hour or the time goes by and you're like, what is
Oh
going on?
yeah.
So that's it for me. I mean, I'll be sad, but I mean, I know that there's other places that I can reach my community, so that's good.
yeah.
I mean, you mentioned Pinterest, and I know, we still got time, but I love that you mentioned Pinterest because I feel like no one's on Pinterest anymore, and Pinterest is pretty much
people are on
full
Pinterest.
credit on what made me go viral. I've gone viral. I mean, in my lifetime, making cups at least 5 times that are like big ones that I can remember, and then there's a few other ones that just got me like a few thousand views. And I was found by BuzzFeed multiple times on Pinterest. Pinterest. My heyday on Pinterest, I was getting 250,000 or 750,000 views on my pins. Now I haven't been there in forever, and I'm still getting close to 10,000 views, and I don't even pin anymore.
Right. No, I would say because it keeps your content up there longer. It's like longer. It's better. It's not Instagram. I mean, I'll post something and then it's dead 72 hours later, but like I mean it can be successful, but it's only successful for like 72 hours or something, and I'm
that's a good point. I gotta get back into Pinterest. I don't know how it's working anymore, but I bet I can figure it out. The paid pins is when I stopped messing with Pinterest. I'm like, I don't got time for this. You guys used to be the best, and now you got to pay for things. You got the shopping center. I don't get it out.
Well, TikTok does that too. One of the things, like if I'm doing a project with a company and like I want that post to do really well because I think it's a really cool project, like my disco balls, you can like pay to boost that. But then once you do it, they will not push your stuff out there anymore.
Oh, my tickets! Fuck!
Go! Oh my gosh! You said I asked you twice.
I know. The conversation's so engaging. Lauren's like, what?
What just happened?
We have to keep that whole thing in. So what you missed, Lauren, is that Jason has an alarm set today to buy Haste the Day tickets. And he told us that he's going to have to leave in the middle of the podcast to go do it. And his alarm went off. And I had said something to him. You even picked up on it because you were like, what was that? And we were like, don't worry about it. And I asked him, I said, do you have to go now? And he said, I have a few minutes. And he just realized what time it was and he ran out. And I hope those tickets are still for sale.
Fingers crossed.
They're for sale on Spotify.
Oh, I've never heard of that.
Me either. So apparently that's starting to be a thing for Spotify. And I mean, why not? What did we say yesterday? How many things did they have? Were you in the room we were talking about tickets for sale on Spotify?
You did say tickets for sale on Spotify.
They have like, I don't know, X amount of million subscribers on there. Why not?
Yeah.
Why not take down Ticketmaster?
Yes, take down Ticketmaster.
Sold out.
No.
And let me put the tickets in the cart, and then it drops when you go to check out. It says not enough tickets to satisfy this order.
Oh no. Oh my God, look at Sarah's face. She's about to kill you.
Nope. It's only 400 cap room, and so the whole show's sold out and during pre-sale. Today was pre-sale.
I just saw a post or a meme or something, and it was like, why are we having concerts at 9:00 on a Saturday? Can we have them at 4:00 on a Saturday instead? So I can like see the headliner at like 7 and then go to bed at 10. And I'm like, yes, I'm here for that. I'm so there for that.
Yes.
Afternoon concerts started at noon.
Yes. I love day concerts. Day concerts are so fun. That's where you find me.
Dude, when we go to concerts and the headliner's at like 11, I'm like, oh my God. So I could stay for like -1 song. I gotta go, you guys.
Yeah. I got kids now.
I'm old. I gotta go get my sleep. I need at least, a little bit.
I need my 8 hours or more. 8 hours plus for me. I know that sounds crazy maybe to some people, but it sounds crazy to my husband because he's like, he wakes up at 4:30 4:35 every day, but that's because he has to go, so he wakes up.
Well, Lauren, this has been so much fun, and I can't wait. We're going to see
you in a few months in person at the Expo. And if anyone wants to take your class, there might still be tickets up by the time this goes up at the greatamericancraftexpo.com. I'll just throw that one there real quick.
I can't wait. We are going to have so much fun. It's going to be crazy.
Yes, it's going to be great. Thank you for coming on with us. I know you were last minute, but Duncan might still be sleeping.
Poor Duncan.
And you pulled this off super last minute. We really appreciate it. And I hope we're not holding you up on any creative stuff.
Oh, you are fine. I have plenty of time today. Don't worry.
So if anyone wants to follow you and see all of your social and everything, where can they go to find you?
So you can find me on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Pinterest, Clapper now, and did I say TikTok? And YouTube. I'm on pretty much everything as Lauren Quigley Creations.
That's super great that it's all the same handle. It makes it. I'm sure that streamlines everything for you.
Yes, even though I'm trying to just like get the creations out of there and just be like Lauren Quigley. But it's the same handle everywhere.
Well, we really appreciate you.
Thanks, Sarah. Thanks, Jason. Thanks for having me on.
Enjoy the rest of your day. Create great things.
Yes, I definitely will. All right. Bye, babes.
Right.
Bye.
Let's get back to work.
When making tea, always bring the pot to the kettle and never bring the kettle to the pot.
Now, pour the tea.